Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to this video. This will be an intro for many videos to come. I'm bringing to you my makeup collection in several parts. But this is going to be an overall view of my collection for you guys so you can see what I have. Also, I can try and answer questions for you in terms of my experience with these products. I just want to make you guys aware of what's lurking in my collection in case you haven't seen me using them on film, which there's a lot of things that you probably haven't seen me use. And so if they're products that you're interested in hearing about or having my opinion on or having a full review or wear test or what have you, please leave all of that in the comments below. And let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's go ahead and jump into my blush collection. I am a big fan of blush, so maybe grab a snack or a drink if you need one, and let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with all of my single blushes, starting with a cream blush. The first one is the Ulta Lip and Cheek Color Stick in the shade Punchy. This is what she looks like. I really like this for a cream blush. I've tried quite a few. This one, while it is a cream product, it does dry down completely. It's easy to blend in. I prefer to use a stippling brush when applying this one. I really like it. It's a great color for me, and I especially like this during the summer when I'm not wearing any foundation and can't beat it with a stick. Next, let's go ahead and get into the drugstore singles here. First is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in the shade Pearlescent Pink. This is supposed to be dupey for the NARS Orgasm blush, which I also have, but I actually like this better than the NARS Orgasm blush because this actually has a fairly strong coral base to it. Whereas the NARS Orgasm is actually more of a blush topper for me. So I actually like to use this as a base for the NARS Orgasm blush. I put this on and then I put the NARS over top, and it's a perfect match and can't beat it for the price. Next is from e.l.f. and this is a total ride or die blush. It's got to be up there in my top 3, but this is the e.l.f. blush in the shade Mellow Mauve, and this is what she looks like. This is a great neutral blush, and by neutral I mean it goes with any look. It has a really unique shift to it, which I hope I'll be able to reflect in the swatches, but it's almost like a teal shift to it, which I think is really amazing, and these are only $3. It applies really nice and smooth, and you know, there's not a ton of kick up in the pan or anything like that. So I highly recommend this one. Next is the newest blush to my collection, and it comes from Flower Beauty. This is the Flower Pot blush in the shade Warm Hibiscus. This is what it looks like. It's got a very beautiful rose embossing into the powder. Again, unfortunately, this is similar to the NARS Orgasm in that this is more of a blush topper for me. This is something maybe that I could get away with in the spring as a blush. I don't tend to wear super warm blushes like this in the winter, but again, it would have to be on my paler skin in order for it to really read as a blush. However, I do love this color. This definitely it goes more to the warm side. If you're comparing it to the NARS Orgasm blush, this has more of an orange base to it versus the NARS and the Wet n Wild, which is more of a pink base. I like the formula. It's very smooth. Again, not a lot of kick up. So I would be interested in trying other shades of this in the future. Next, I have one from Soap & Glory, and this is currently the oldest blush in my collection. I had this before I started my journey in beauty. And again, this is more of a topper for me. And this is the Soap & Glory Peach Party. I really love this packaging. It's called a Juicy Multicolor Blush Brick. And now you can see how this drew me in. This is a really fun presentation of the powders in here. You've got quite a few different colors. You've got like a champagne-y, a bronzy, a pinky, and a peachy color in here. And I don't ever try and concentrate my brush in one area. I just swirl it in the middle and apply it like that. I think I absolutely could concentrate a highlighter brush in these lighter shades and wear it as a highlighter, especially during the summer. And I don't want it to go to waste, but I also don't find myself reaching for it now that I have so many blushes that I love. And then last, for the drugstore singles, I have this one by number 7. It is called the Powder Blusher, and this is in the shade Damson Mist. I do really love this formula from number 7. You'll see in the swatch here that it is very pigmented. It is a strong, bright pink shade, and I really, really love this one. I actually love it for all year long, which is what's nice about this shade for me. I can just go lightly in the winter and it looks like I've just flushed from coming out of the cold. I can really lay it on during the spring and summer and have a bright, bold blush. I think it's a nice color for me all year long, and that's pretty rare to find a blush that works all year long, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and get into the non-drugstore singles, starting with a couple that I received from BoxyCharm. The first one, again, came from BoxyCharm, and this is the Studio Makeup Luminous Loose Blush. It does not have a shade name. This, to me, is kind of similar to the e.l.f. Mellow Mauve shade, in my opinion. It does have a nice sifter that turns. Obviously, I didn't do a good job keeping mine turned because there's a whole heck of a lot of product in here. So that is one reason I really don't reach for this, is that it's kind of messy and kind of a hassle, though it is a really nice color, and I do need to make more use of this. Really nice amount of product in here, 7 grams of product, which is a whole heck of a lot for a loose blush. Loose blush just isn't sort of my thing, so I don't reach for it a lot, but it is a really nice color and it's a nice formula. It is long lasting on my face, which can be difficult at times to find, just based on my skin type. My face seems to like eat blush. And then the most recent blush that we received from BoxyCharm has beautiful packaging. This is the Pretty Vulgar Make Them Blush in shade 18 Hush Blush. This is a really nice dusty rose shade. I will say this has kick up like nobody's business. I use the softest Delium Tools blush brush with this and just barely tap it in there and it's like powder. But you know, that's not a deal breaker for me. It is very, very pigmented, so it looks nice on my skin tone. You will find in this video that I have quite a lot of dusty rose shades, which I do like on my skin. But you know, I definitely don't need any more. Okay, BoxyCharm? And next is one that we've already briefly spoken on, and that is the NARS Orgasm Blush. This is a mini. I received this in a set with this and a miniature of the NARS Orgasm lipstick. And I do love this color. This is definitely a YouTube made me buy it type situation. Everybody talked about an orgasm. Whoa! Everybody talked about this blush. It was a holy grail. It was a favorite. It was a cult classic. You know how that goes. And you know, I fell into it. I'm glad I tried it. Again, it's more of a blush topper for me, and I'm kind of disappointed in that, but it happens, and I will use it up because I am currently panning this in my hashtag It's Been Emotional project pan. So this is a nice one. However, I don't recommend it in the least. If you're interested in the NARS Orgasm Blush, go ahead and pick up the Wet n Wild one because it's more pigmented and way cheaper. Next is one that I received very recently in a swap with my friend Beauty by Angela here on YouTube. I had a Tarte blush that was too soft and pale for me, and she had one that she didn't prefer because it was darker for her more fair skin tone. Good grief, I can't words today. But anyhow, this is the Tarte 12 Hour Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Blushing Bride. I did have to repress this. It did arrive to me broken, so you know, don't expect to see the embossing in here. However, I did feel like it repressed rather nicely. So this is a beautiful shade. It is somewhat similar to the number 7 Damson Mist. If you can see here in the tone, and I look forward to using it. I think this is really nice, and I'm glad to have added it to my collection. And in general, I do feel like these Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes are really long lasting on my skin, so I really appreciate that, and I wouldn't mind having more of those at some point. And then 2 of my favorite singles are from Hourglass. I have 2 shades, and these are their ambient lighting blush. This is Mood Exposure, and it's not gonna swatch worth a darn, but I'll still put one up there. This is a really, really nice soft plum satin finish type blush, which I really like, especially for my winter skin. I do really have to build this up on my skin, however, so it's not probably something I would purchase the full size of. However, I will use this up because I really, really like the formula. Again, it is a satin finish, so it looks really, really nice on the skin. And then this is Diffused Heat, and this is the other one I have. Now these blushes from Hourglass, I do prefer to apply with a very dense blush brush. You really want to swirl your brush in there to make sure that you pick up, you know, good amount of the pigment as well as the ambient lighting powder, and apply it that way. This is a great shade for any time of year. Again, if I wear it during the winter, it looks like a nice pink flush, like I just came in from out of the cold, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, what have you. But it's also a really fun color for spring and summer, and I will definitely try more shades of these blushes in the future. These are the minis, however, and for me, I would rather have more options than more product. So, and then the last single blush is also very new to my collection. I received this in May for Mother's Day, and it is from the Patrick Starr Miso Chic collection, and this is the powder blush duo in the shade I'm Not Blushing. Get a load of this packaging. You would have seen this in my May adding up new to my collection video. And this is what made me want the collection, hands down. I love this blush duo. You have this nice warm brown shade on the top, and then you have this salmon-y coral on the bottom. The salmon, or whatever color you want to call this, on the bottom is a satin finish, and this is a matte finish. However, the thing I like about this is you totally get 3 different shades of blush when using this duo. You can go in straight just with the coral shade, or you can go in straight with the brown shade, which is actually really nice and could double as a bronzer in my opinion, or you can swirl your brush into both and have a completely different colors. So I really, really like this. I love a nice strong coral blush. I do have the Flower Beauty blush as a topper today, but this is my base, this coral shade, and I just think it's really nice, especially for my warm skin tone. So I'm really glad I got my hands on this. Now, I have one blush that is in a face palette here, and it is from BoxyCharm. This is the Pure Bronze and Brighten palette, and the blush in here is called Blushing Glow. This is very, very pigmented. However, this is a very nice, unique shade to my collection. It is a nice red blush here, so I do like that. It's very, very pigmented, as you will see from the swatch, but I do like it. I think when I go in with a light hand, it's definitely a metallic blush. I would not call it satin, and it's definitely not matte, but it's very nice. I think it is nice during the winter, and you just have that tiny little bit of flush on the apples of your cheek, or I think it's nice and bold. Even in the summer, you can go in and do a full blush with this. Next, I have the single blushes that I have here in my Tarte magnetic palette. This here is the blush that won't quit. I had this in my Spring Fling Project pan, and I unfortunately did not even hit pan on it, which was the goal. This is the size of an eyeshadow pan, but this is the Balm Springs blush from The Balm. I'm still working on this. I've rolled this into my year-long project pan. This is a matte blush, and you know, it's okay. It's so old. I have it from back when I used to get Ipsy, which I haven't had for over a year now, and I just would like it to be done. So I am actually thinking about, however, once I get some more use on the NARS Mini, I'm thinking about doing a Franken blush and mixing these two together just to give the NARS Orgasm a little bit more of a pigmented base, so I could use it actually as a blush and not just as a topper. Phew. Next is another sample size, which a friend received in the Sephora Play box and then gave to me. I depotted it from the packaging. All I know about this one is that this is a Makeup Forever blush. It's a nice shade. It may be something that I use more as an eyeshadow, though I'm not for sure. I honestly have not used this one that much. It's, you know, kind of light for my skin tone, so it may be something I get more use out of during my paler months, and you know, I like it. The formula feels nice. It's definitely a satin blush as well. And then this one is a single that I received from BoxyCharm, an empty Ofra palette. I love this shade. This is called Winter Rose from Ofra, and this is really, really pretty and unique. It does remind me again of the e.l.f. Mellow Mauve, especially that it does have a unique shift to it that's almost a cool shift. However, this has a much warmer base than the Mellow Mauve does, and so I really, really like this. This is one that works for me all year long again, and it's a favorite for sure. I'm so glad that I got to try this from BoxyCharm. And then lastly, I have two blush kits. The first one I purchased, I found at Marshall's, and this is the blush kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I got it on a great deal, and this is in the colorway Radiant, and this is what she looks like. So we have 4 shades in here. First, this coral shade is called Coastline. This pink shade is called Spoiled. This, what do we want to call this? Warmer mauve shade is called Breeze. And then this shade right here, which is definitely more of a rose, is called Terrace. I do love these. These are all matte blushes, though this pink one would appear to have a little bit of micro glitter in it, which does not translate onto the face, so that's good. But yeah, I really like these. These are definitely pigmented. You're gonna wanna go in with a soft, fluffy brush like this one here from Real Techniques, you know, and again, kind of like the Pretty Vulgar one, although not quite as dramatic. Just tap in lightly and, you know, go in really lightly and make sure you're doing some good blending there. But I really like this. I think this is probably the blush palette that I will take with me to Nebraska this summer for my sister's wedding, because I feel like I have all the tones I could need insofar as a blush, and you know, they're all in one palette, so it's, you know, maybe gonna save space. We can hope. You know, I might have a full suitcase of makeup. It could happen. And the newest blush kit to my collection, hubby picked up for me for Mother's Day, and I'm so glad he did because I've been having a really good time with this one. And this is the Benefit Blush Bar. This is their newest blush bar release, and I love the packaging with the ballerinas. But I also was really excited. Number one, I've always wanted to try the Hoola bronzer, which is up here, and you would have seen that in my bronzer video. But this also has the newest addition to the Benefit Blush Box line, which is called Gold Rush. And this is really, really nice rose gold blush. It is a satin finish, and again, it's a rose blush with a rose gold shift to it, and it's just gorgeous. And then right here, this is the one that I've always wanted to try, and it is called California. California has always been on my list to try because I love a nice strong coral blush on my warm undertone, and this did not disappoint. It does come with a gold overspray, which I just brushed off because I'm not interested in having glitter on my face. And then right here we have a cult classic from Benefit, which is the Rockateur blush, and I would call this one in the mauve family, but again has a cooler shift to it, which I find to be really nice and versatile. And then over here we do have the classic Dandelion, but in case you didn't know, while this is considered a blush, it's actually meant to be an all-over face powder. Not that you couldn't use this as a blush, especially if you're in the fair category, but for me this is absolutely not a blush unless I want to like grind it into my pores. It is actually meant to be an all-over face powder, so that's how I plan to use that one. I am not at all disappointed with this blush bar. A lot of people say that the blush bars are not the same formula as the box blushes, and I can assure you these are. And that's it. Now you have seen my crazy long blush collection. I do love blush. It's got to be right up there in my top 3 categories, along with eyeshadow and lipstick. So no, I'm not crazy. I just love blush, and I feel really confident in my blush collection currently. I don't feel like there's anything missing from this. And so that's that. So as in every other video, I'm going to give you my numbers on blush. So my number is 25 pans of blush over all of these in palettes, singles, what have you. So I hope you enjoyed my blush collection, and I hope all of your makeup days are beautiful makeup days. We will see you in the next one. Bye!
Definitely a YouTube made me buy it type situation. Everybody talked about an orgasm. No!